Hello everyone and welcome to my Coronation Street 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Rachel Zoe reveals her true motivation for joining the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills exclusive. For Rachel Zoe, life is coming full circle as she prepares to make her reality TV return. When the celebrity stylist, 53, ended her show, The Rachel Zoe Project, after 5 seasons in April 2013, her son Skylar was 2, and she was early into her pregnancy with her second son, Caius. Now Skylar and Caius are 14 and 11, respectively, and she found out about her casting in the upcoming season 15 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. On my way to Sky's graduation from middle school, Zoe tells POPL. I actually cried, she says. I was like, how is this even possible? The whole thing is wild. It's been a very surreal time, honestly. The announcement came 9 months after she announced her split from her husband of 26 years, Roger Berman, 56. While building my different businesses and raising my kids over the past 10 years, I've discussed coming back to TV in different ways, she says. But for me to go back on TV, it had to be when I really felt like I had a lot to share and a lot to say. Publicly, as we know, my life has shifted in many ways personally and professionally. I felt like it was the time now to sit with an amazing group of women and really talk about my new life and what that looks like. Zoe knows there are a lot of aspects of her life that seem unattainable, but she's found joy in hearing just how much people have connected to her story. I know that sounds silly because I know I'm a fashion person, and I know my life may not be that relatable, but I go through very real, very relatable things and emotions, she says. I live my life in a very normal, relatable way most of the time. I think that to sit with women and talk about that, for me, is a great way to sort of share what I'm living through, what I'm going through. I think I have a really strong message to share now, and I think that's really why I wanted to do the show. In the time since her first show began in 2008, Zoe has learned to grow a thick skin. In 2008, I think there was maybe Twitter, but not what exists now, she says. It's funny because people will just jump on something. They create a story and a narrative, and then, all of a sudden, it's viral. It's everywhere. There used to be tabloids when I was doing my show, and it was like one person would write something, and then it could be other places. But it was different because it was in print, so there were different lead times. Now, one incorrect thing gets said, and it's around the internet in like 60 seconds, she says. So that's been a little surreal. During a recent visit to New York, Zoe says at least twice a day, someone would come up to her to say, I became a stylist because of you and your show. The Rachel Zoe Project gave that insight and inspired young people to live their dream, which they didn't even know existed, really, because a lot of people didn't know what a stylist was, she says. Certainly I didn't. I was just sort of figuring it out as I went. It's very organic, she says. For me, when cameras roll, I don't feel them, I don't see them, and I pretend they're not there. I feel like the best way to do this is, like, let's just roll. Let's just roll and let's just be organic about how we create this. So it's been fun. Zoe says her style mantra has remained the same through both experiences. To be honest, on the Rachel Zoe Project, I just sort of got dressed in real time every day, she says. Now I'm just sort of winging it too. I've gone into my archives and pulled some things I'll probably wear for filming, but I honestly wish I could say that it was planned and calculated. It's a little bit ready, set, go. On RHOBH, Zoe has loved getting the chance to film with new friends like Bozoma Bo St. John and longtime friends like Kathy Hilton. Boz I had on my podcast and fell in love with her, Zoe says. I've known Kathy Hilton forever, like 20 years, and I'm very close with her daughters and with her. She's such a great friend, a great person. She had a lot to do with why I'm doing the show. So I think there's so many reasons, honestly, but overall it just felt like the twist that sent shockwaves through the fashion and reality television worlds alike. Stylist to the stars Rachel Zoe officially confirmed her newest career chapter, joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Known for her iconic catchphrases like, I Die, and bananas. Rachel has long been a presence in pop culture, but her entry into Bravo's diamond-studded arena raised both eyebrows and champagne flutes. Now, for the first time, she's sharing the real reason why she decided to pick up a diamond, and it's not what fans might expect. It wasn't about fame, Rachel said, lounging on the plush cream velvet chaise in her Malibu home, sipping a lavender latte. Let's be honest. I've dressed Oscar winners. I've had my own show. But there's something about Housewives that represents a kind of raw, emotional storytelling you just can't find in Fashion Week interviews or red carpet recaps. I wanted to feel something again. Rachel's rise in the early 2000s made her a household name in couture circles. With her sun-kissed waves, oversized sunglasses, and ability to pair vintage Halston with Valentino, she became the living embodiment of West Coast glam. But after a decade of dressing A-listers and launching her own lifestyle empire, she hit a creative wall. It's not burnout, it's bling out, she laughed. You get to a point where you've seen every kind of gown, you've stitched hems backstage at the Golden Globes, and yet there's this hollow space where you ask, who am I when I'm not styling someone else's fantasy? Enter the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, a franchise she once dismissed as chaos and couture. But after a chance lunch with Kyle Richards at the Ivy, something shifted. Kyle said something that struck me, Rachel shared. She said, "You've built a brand around empowering women with fashion. But what if you showed them how to empower themselves emotionally, too?" That hit deep. The idea took root. Rachel began rewatching the series not as a guilty pleasure, but as an anthropological study of friendship, betrayal, reinvention, and, of course, wardrobe evolution. From LVP's Tea Party glam to Erica's dominatrix couture, there's a narrative thread. These women dress for their emotions, and I realized, so do I. Rachel's entry was anything but subtle. At the first cast event, a charity gala for Lisa Rinna's latest cause, she arrived in a custom gold lame Schiaparelli jumpsuit with shoulder armor. "I wanted to come in looking like fashion's version of a Trojan horse," she joked. Soft smile, steel energy. Her presence caused immediate friction with Dorrit Kemsley, who saw Rachel's polished perfection as a little try-hard. But Rachel wasn't fazed. "Look, I don't do messy, but I do intentional. If I enter a room and people notice, that's not ego, it's strategy." Still, the transition hasn't been all runway walks and designer brunches. Rachel admits that reality TV tested her in ways she never anticipated. "You can't curate your vulnerability," she explained. "You can't airbrush an argument with your husband or edit out the tears when a friend betrays you." I had to sit with feelings I'd usually distract myself from by rearranging throw pillows or planning trunk shows in Paris. But those raw moments also sparked the next evolution of the Rachel Zoe brand. On screen, she's been surprisingly open about the pressures of motherhood, aging in the spotlight, and reimagining purpose at midlife. There's power in saying, "I don't know what's next, I'm still showing up in vintage Dior." Fans have responded with enthusiasm. Her tagline, "I've dressed the stars, but now I'm ready to undress the drama," has become a rallying cry for women reinventing themselves after 40. Perhaps the most unexpected turn in her Housewives journey is her growing friendship with Garcelle Beauvais. "Garcelle gets me," Rachel said. "We're both balancing this tightrope of public personas and private struggles. We meet for matcha, and we don't talk gossip, we talk growth." Of course, Rachel being Rachel, there's a fashion angle to everything. "I want to launch a capsule line inspired by each cast member's essence," she revealed. "Not just what they wear, but what they feel." A Kyle piece would be vintage floral with a sharp blazer. A Dorrit, something playful with 47 logos. And Erica's? Latex meets heartbreak. But at the core of it all is a woman who's done playing muse and is finally stepping into her own story. "For years, I was the invisible hand behind the glam. Now I get to be messy, emotional, outrageous, me, the real me." And yes, she still loves a plunging neckline and a stack of bangles, Rachel said with a wink.